Front and centre.
Okay, excellent, we're live. Good afternoon everybody, my name is Elise Hatton and I'm the Smart Hub Business Manager, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our July, we're still in July, Lunch and Learn. As you know, Rockhampton Regional Council is very committed to supporting our local entrepreneurs and business owners, and one of the ways in which we demonstrate this commitment is by hosting these Lunch and Learns. Every single month we get experts in to speak about the topics that are really important for people who are building profitable or creating and growing profitable businesses. So today, in the whole startup world, as you would know, if you've had anything to do with the startup world, the word pitching is everywhere, right? The word pitching is everywhere. But the word pitching is a bit deceptive because it actually, in a way, is synonym for persuasion and sales and a lot of other things, getting people to engage in your product and service. And as a business owner or entrepreneur, it's essential, it's an essential skill. It's essential for getting investment, it's essential for getting more customers, it's essential for growing your business. So I think we have a fabulous topic, pitching like a champion, and we have two fabulous presenters to help us learn and hone our skills around pitching today. So let me tell you a little bit about these two gentlemen. The first thing that I'd like to say is I'm not going to read the marketing, because you've all read, you know, John's written 4 books and Geoff is as a consultant working with a not-for-profit, I know that you've all read everything about that. So I'd like to, instead of telling you what's in the marketing, I'd like to tell you the story about when we met. So I met Geoff Higgins maybe 3 years ago now.
4 now.
No way. No,
3.
Make it 3. It could be 4. A few years ago now, because Geoff really is a founding member of Startup Capricorn, and that's how I got involved in the whole startup ecosystem and this whole startup space. Is I attended a Startup Capricorn meeting in the early days, and Gareth Martin then linked with me, and the next thing I know, I'm employed by council. But anyway, that's another story. So Geoff and I have known each other for a while, and Geoff has really been active in this public speaking space and in the startup space since the very beginnings of Rockhampton's journey. And then John, I met through Toastmasters. So both Geoff and John are very involved in Toastmasters. As you would know, Toastmasters is one of the global gold standard organizations in teaching public speaking and all things related to speaking. And there are 4 chapters in this region, but there's only 1 chapter for entrepreneurs. And Geoff and John run that chapter, and they run that from the Smart Hub. So I'm sure that they'll be telling you about how you can get involved, when the meetings are, and why you should attend. Usually I share quirky facts about the founders or about our speakers. The quirky fact about John is that he spent the majority of his life underground. So we can welcome him to daylight today. Daylight.
Love daylight.
Love daylight. And the quirky fact about Geoff is that he doesn't have a quirky fact. It took about 10 minutes for Geoff to think about something to share, but here is the quirky fact. He has, you see this name badge which says Toastmasters Geoff Higgins. He's so involved in our community, he has 27 different name badges, not with different names, all say Geoff Higgins, just because that would be weird. All say Geoff Higgins, but he's involved in 27 different community organisations. So we are very grateful for you not only to share how to pitch with us today, but also Geoff and John run actual pitch training from the Smart Hub, and that's part of our partnership with Toastmasters. So if you're interested in learning more about pitching, and if you're interested in getting some one-on-one coaching, these gentlemen are definitely here to help you out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elise. If you have a bit of a think about the situations you find yourself in your, particularly your working life, but outside of your working life, every now and then there'll be something that you need to pitch. I want to go to Yapoon and buy an ice cream. The kids want to watch Netflix. They don't want to get out in the car. I have to pitch that ice cream, and it's not hard, is it? Really, that's an easier sell than many other things I have to pitch, like flu injections, for example. You will be often in your working life pitching your services or your capabilities or some kind of product that you're offering to people, and today's session is about helping you on that journey. If you have any questions along the way, I would encourage you to just put your hand up and wave it around, and we'll get to you, maybe not straight away, but soon. And also, if you have any burning desire to learn more, hold on to the last slide, because I will give you that. Here's how to learn more. So we'll get to that soon enough. I've been to a few lunch and learns, and you guys are looking already like you've settled into that kind of neutral zone. John and I are all about learning by doing, not learning by sitting and listening. And so this session is all about doing. So I'm going to hand to John for our first activity for you.
Thanks very much, Geoff. Look, when I was about 2-year-old, I said something. Now, I don't remember what it was, but my mother was so excited. She rang Grandma when the kids, my older brother and sister came home. Johnny said his first word today, and I have never had an audience like that ever since. And that's what I've been trying for ever since, to get an audience with that sort of reception. And that's exactly what you're looking for if you're pitching a business proposition. You've got to go back to what it was like when you were 2-year-old, and every word, right up until you'd used about 3 or 4. Then when you're about 9, you heard a rude word, and you tried that, and that got a pretty good reaction. Okay? So that's the sort of stuff that we're aiming to get today. And we're going to do it smiling, and we're going to do it with confidence. And I think what I'd like you to do is find somebody you have never spoken to before in your life, tell them who you are and what you do. Right? Why you came today. But just please, up and find somebody, not the person you're sitting next to, not the person you walked in with, not somebody you haven't seen for 14 years, somebody who...
My name's Elise, pleased to meet you.
My name's Maureen, pleased to meet you. I'm not in the I'm retired. Not a lot, I've done a fair bit of it in my previous employer as a management accountant. So the retirement and you do it depended on the audience. If I guess the main thing is to be very confident in your subject, which is delivery. So yeah, and then it can become fun. And I guess you're finding that too.
Yes. That's awesome, Maureen. Thank you. Have you been to the Smart Hub before?
No, I haven't really.
Cool. Yeah, have you? You should go for a little tour after and take you a little. Yes, for a little tour. It's a beautiful space.
Righto, you've all met somebody fascinating? More importantly, has somebody fascinating met you? Righto, let's grab... who met somebody really exciting? Hey, you better all sit down and listen to this one. Who did you meet?
I met Caleb, who helps people to hone their skills in business, and he's really here to try and work on his communication skills, and hoping to come back to Toastmasters soon.
Okay, righto. Welcome, Caleb. Who else met somebody fascinating?
Everybody else is pretty
good.
I met your friend Maureen,
Right.
who used to be the management accountant with CQU and did public speaking as part of her role. Very exciting.
Righto. Anybody else meet anybody?
I met Anthony. Anthony's new to Anthony is new to Rockhampton and was at the weekend startup weekend and is in information technology, so looking for employment.
Okay. Anybody else meet somebody fascinating? Look, I met Geoff.
You said someone interesting.
And Geoff is right into smiling and showing confidence. Come on, Geoff, show them how to do it.
Okay, thank you, John. I want to do our usual sort of where are we going. And where we're going is we're going to take you through a bit of a process of introducing yourselves. Sorry, we've already done that, haven't we, John? Keep it moving. We're going to talk about what you can offer. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That's wrong. You're going to talk about what you can offer. You've already got a bit of a taste of what this session's going to be about. You're going to talk about what you could offer to someone else. And you're going to talk about why I or that person should care. The way we've scaled this is You've all heard of an elevator pitch, the idea of an elevator pitch. The elevator bit is you get into an elevator with someone who's a bit of an influencer and you have an opportunity to talk to them. The problem is, in Rockhampton, the elevators don't go very high. Some of them are pretty slow, but they still don't go very high. So if you've got one of those first sort of 1-2 floor journeys, you might only have time to introduce yourself. If you've got a little bit more time, you're going up to the 5th or 6th floor, you might get a chance to tell them what you could offer. And if you're going to the 10th floor or the penthouse, there might be time to tell them why you should care, which is why we've scaled this approach, is to take you on a little bit of a journey. Sometimes you've got a little bit of time, sometimes you've got more time, sometimes you don't know how much time you've got, and you better start by introducing yourself because that's a very good place to start. This is about preparing to explain the value of what you can provide to someone through your work or through your activities that you're engaged in. And so finding that potential customer isn't the most important thing, it's actually convincing them that they should be your customer long term. So that's what the pitch is all about. So secondly, to give that simple description of your offering. I've got an example on the screen here. Toastmasters help people explain things to interested people. And if you do a word count, you'll see that that's an 8-word pitch. All we've done here is tell someone what we're offering in 8 words or less. Simple example, to get you on the way. Some people through their business will have a number of these different 8-word offerings, but at the very least it'd be great for you to have one that you can use when you introduce yourself to someone at a cocktail party or at a Smart Hub event like this. So I'm going to hand over to John to take you through a process of doing your own.
Well, basically, what we're looking at is answers to questions like who. So who do we deal with? Who are we? There's a whole lot of who answers. Where? Do you deal with Central Queensland, or are you looking at Rockhampton City? Or are you a global enterprise? That's entirely your choice. When? When are you open? When do you want to meet somebody in their business life cycle? Where? We dealt with. How? How do you do it? And that's really a verb. So do you sell? Do you make? Do you process? Do you advise? How about you talk to the person next to you now, somebody that you feel comfortable with because you've sized them all up and decided that they're okay. Talk to the people next to you. If there's 3 of you sitting together, that's fine. You can do it in a group of 3 if it's not a great deal of movement. But between you, try and come up with a 8-word statement each. Now, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 6. But going back to Geoff's elevator, the aim of the elevator pitch is to make sure they want to stay and chat to you when you get to the penthouse. And you've got 8 words to do it. 8 or thereabouts. And we did take the whole of Toastmasters material and put it into an 8-word statement. We are helping, is the verb. Our market is anybody. Explain things is what they're going to do. And then their market is interested people. So think about what you do and how you're going to describe it in 8 minutes. And there's a bit of space at the top. Don't use the rest of the page because Geoff's got a whole bunch of other stuff he wants to add to those 8 words. But this is the 8 words you're going to get out while you're in the elevator. So please sit and chat to the person next to you about what you do. get a chance to get your words together? Righto, so how about one more minute and we'll get some examples.
How about we change it with symbols to
It's not a criticism at all.
how do we make it less? So help us.
Well,
Too many words. Help us make it
no,
less.
it's not. Okay, so this bit here doesn't change. I think you've actually got 8 words anyway. So you're telling them who you are and what your business is. So that was part A. This is part B. Here's refrigerated assets that need protecting. Is it industrial? So what's your scale? Is it because I've got that at home? I've got some things in the freezer that I really don't store out. So, but you're.
Well, this is the next thing we were talking about before. My products will be given to 27
Okay.
So the way in which we're thinking of solving that is if we're talking to you, we have individuals who have, refrigerated assets. Yeah, we have restaurant owners.
High value, yes, it's a high value items in that refrigerator, so high value refrigerator.
And then by installing the world's smartest sensors.
So the sensors are what you're giving me.
Yeah.
Think about,
By installing the world's smartest sensors.
it's alright, let's just give or take. You can get away with a give or take, but over time, like this isn't, you're not going to get any Bible hats, but when you keep coming back to it, you keep finding it down and throwing things out and adding things in, which is the problem with this, you add you in as well.
I think the hardest thing is to know what the words are that you would be using. So you would
See, John came up with that phrase from Toastmasters, and I could have spent 3 days and I would have done the same thing.
That's right. What you're saying is if you ask the target market, what is the market? Why do they come to Toastmasters? They probably won't say because the retail is explaining it.
No, that's right. But it's what they're getting. And so that's what you're thinking is what are they getting?
And what are the words that are local related to
Yeah.
that make sense to them?
And so it's about, I think that idea of assets that need protecting. You're talking about their assets there, whereas I said I'm interested in the sensors. So you're talking about your sensors and their assets being emphasised there.
Who's got a pretty good description of their business in 8 words or thereabouts? Anyone from here? Right, who have you got?
So, Accessory enables Australians save for future health needs.
Okay, so saving for future health needs, and you've identified Australians as the who. That's fine, yep, okay. Alright, so that's my business. I'm into, okay. Anyone, another example?
We are helping people to find customers.
Okay, is there anybody here who's not helping people to find customers? Okay, there are, okay. Yeah, right, it's okay, so what are you doing?
I haven't got down to
No, give us a starting point.
Okay, we provide people with living their life.
Okay, so that's, you're on the right track. You're going to knock that down. So it's your customers are people with diabetes.
Yeah.
And you're offering a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
Emerald.
Yeah, go on, Emma.
Emerald assists Queensland businesses with employee process trainees.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Yep.
The Investment Collective, we believe in a stress-free, collaborative approach to helping achieve financial independence.
I like that.
Hey.
I can buy into that.
Yeah, okay. Righto. You've got my attention. Yeah, Carol?
Art experience, empower others on a journey of self-discovery.
Okay.
Nice.
Righto.
That's less than 8 words, I think.
Okay, so it can be done. All right, but that's not the end of the conversation. That's the opening to the conversation. What Geoff's going to do is, what do you talk about next? How do you, if they say, oh yeah, what do you mean? Right, I mean, I was incredibly unfair and said, okay, is there anybody that doesn't do that? But the answer, it's the next part that is going to take it from your 8 words into an open conversation. Remember, you got into the elevator with this guy. Now, is he going to race to his appointment in the penthouse? Or is he going to continue the conversation and you get to exchanging business cards? And that's really what Geoff's going to talk about now.
So on an earlier slide, I said this one's called Why Should I Care? So if you keep in mind, this is about letting that person know why they should care about the thing that you offer. And there's this buzzword, which is buzz phrase, which is the value proposition. So we're going to explore the value proposition. There are many ways of doing writing a value proposition. So I would also encourage you to go away and Google it and see how other people have done this. I'm going to give you some examples because we always love to have examples. But first, just to say, a value proposition is a simple statement. So again, keeping it concise as well as clear, explaining what you can do for the customer from their perspective. So you have to put yourself in their boots and have a little bit of a think about what's going on for them that they would need me to assist them. And finally, and this can be tricky for many of us, is how am I doing this in a way which is distinct? And if you're not doing it in such a way that is distinct, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. So you need to explore that a little bit, even if you're not there yet. So some of this is also encouraging you to start thinking about how to present yourself in such a way that you can stand out.
Can I just give you an example of taking that to an extreme? The rental car business started off as somebody with a car encouraged somebody to borrow the car in return for money. And it worked until somebody decided, let's do it at airports. How many of you would have done 80% of your car rental hires from an airport point? And that is really the distinct from anybody else. Now, they're all doing it, so they've got to find a better way. And it's frequent flyer miles, and it's all sorts of things. But that's that point that I think you're at the moment. What are we doing that makes us different from anyone else?
So taking that automotive segue, guess who this is? The smartest way to get around. One tap, and a car comes directly to you, your driver knows exactly where to go, and payment is completely cashless.
Black and white taxis.
Black and white taxis wish that this was what they were saying to people, but it's a little late for them now. Although they're on the way, there's actually some work going on in that space, but I think they might be a little bit too late. It's quite recognisable, but if you think about each of those elements, for each of you, I would expect that at some point, at least one of those, and probably more than one, will actually be of value. Even when we're in Rocky, which is only just starting on this Uber journey locally. Who am I quoting? That's a good guess.
Sure.
I like that. It was not Alexander Graham Bell, but he wishes he'd said that. But Steve Jobs came later and did actually say that. Thank you very much. These elements actually spark excitement. So we're having a little discussion down in one of these groups here about the 8 words. And for Nola, welcoming is a nice word to use. And it may not be the word that she ends up using, but welcoming is quite different to taking or encouraging. There's kind of, each of you needs to think about what's the word that is, and welcoming has a big hug in it, whereas the other words don't have a big hug in them. So think about the words like simple, beautiful, and magical to use, which actually communicate the thing or the service that you're offering to people. So we're going to give you a bit of a technique here. So a simple way of approaching it is to describe the name of the product or service, telling the person who it's for, and why it is that they might want to come across to the service that you provide. And then you finish with your solution. So you basically finished with them knowing what your solution is. So of course I've got an example. By coincidence, it's from Toastmasters. Our service, Toastmasters, is for people from all walks of life who are dissatisfied with their lack of...
Can I just take that point, the people from all walks of life? Over the 40 years I've been involved in Toastmasters, I've probably met 200 people that said, oh no, that's not for me. And quite frankly, I was probably able to say, oh yeah, we've got somebody that runs an art gallery that's got a heck of a lot of fun out of Toastmasters. All right, or we've got somebody that's in a law firm that's got advantages from Toastmasters. Or somebody that was setting up a new business in Rockhampton, that's just taking three people I can see in the room, and who are very different walks of life. So who are the people? Be specific, and we are being specific.
The problem is sometimes you're specific by saying it's everyone.
Yeah, but it's not just those people, right? Which is sometimes a good marketing proposition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, what are those people dissatisfied with? The majority of the people who I talk to Toastmasters about who haven't been are concerned about their lack of confidence. That's
is there
the
anybody
thing that
who
holds them
doesn't
back.
fit that bill? Is there anyone here that is not concerned about their lack of confidence talking to other people? Get your hand up and... I know, sorry, the hands up are the people who are not concerned.
Oh, I'm
so,
not concerned.
Yeah, hands are down. Yeah, I'm still concerned.
Alright, sorry, you got me on the double negative there, John.
How much effort did we put into this week?
To do this is what we deliver. This is our promise, is we provide encouragement and lots of feedback. And really plenty of time to get those skills. So it's a simple way of jotting down what we aren't as much as what we are. So you can see what we aren't. We aren't about knocking people in shape. This isn't boot camp public speaking. This is nurturing public speaking. That's what we're about. Now, of course, I'm going to hand over to John here, who's going to encourage you
to follow the lights. So, what we want you to do is to, once again, talk with somebody that you haven't spoken to so far today. I think it's about time we got up and moved. So, find somebody that you haven't spoken to today, find a spot, and go through the process of what your value proposition is. What is it that you do? Who do you do it for? Why do they need you? And how do you do it?
and John.
And we've got 20 minutes. One of the things that's really critical to Toastmasters, our club here, we never finish a meeting after 8 a.m. We start at 6:30 in the morning. And the reason we finish at 8 is because we know people have got to get to work. So we're not complicating life. And we are going to be out of here at 1 o'clock with your value proposition written only if you move fast, find someone different and get right into it. So you've got a couple of minutes to write your value proposition. What time are we scheduled to finish? 1 or 1:30? 1:30. 1, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
And we need to be told now, not in 6 months' time.
Yes. Well, if you've got coverage, if you don't have coverage, we can still do it. We'll just go into some of those supplements that actually cost money.
Yep.
So we need some scale. Yes.
But you can be expensive. So you're not offering a bargain basement. You're not the ones who are dissatisfied with receiving a large bill because you're going to provide a cheap and cheerful solution.
No, I will provide you a reliable and no false alarm solution.
You're talking about procedures.
Yeah. Like I've had hospitals.
We're going to have to wrap up.
You love being behind the scenes.
He loves being in the front of it.
I can't guarantee about that one.
Okay, folks. About half a minute.
John, I want to check in with these two.
What do we achieve today?
Put the extra item up on the screen to introduce yourself.
Okay. How many people are still smiling? Anybody still smiling? Right. An important part of it. And confident. Who has met somebody today as a result of the stuff you've heard about their business that you would think maybe I ought to have a yarn to them? So let's swap business cards or whatever, but however you've organised, swap phone numbers or whatever. Anybody met somebody in the course of today? Okay, Carol, do you want to tell us who? And then we're going to make them do their pitch, that's all.
Okay, so I met Michael Green from Tech.
Yeah, we'll let him tell us who he is. Michael, tell us who you are.
I'm Michael Green.
No, you're going to stand up and you're going to smile and you're going to have confidence. Oh yeah, you're on camera.
Yeah, that's where the camera's pointing. You may as well be out the front here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Michael Green from Techtegic. We specialise in helping small and medium-sized businesses to future-proof their organisations through innovation. That's more than 8 words.
Right, no, you're allowed more than 8 words.
We do that through support and expert advice in understanding your organisations, where you want to move to, and helping you where you are today to move and grow your businesses.
One follow-up question.
One follow-up.
What are your customers dissatisfied with?
They are dissatisfied with complexity in their organisations.
Right,
Thank you.
All right, anybody else meet somebody interesting that they'd love to go and... Yes? So who did you meet that you found interesting? Is that the...
We might be going to another one, John.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just met Veronica News, and she's working on diabetes on track, Vector Health Group. And I think that we can have another meeting to do business together.
Righto. Okay. Yeah, Veronica, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Veronica Mills. I run Diabetes on Track. We provide education and tools for people to live a very normal, full life with diabetes and make the most of their life. Series of podcasts and vodcasts is what I'm working on to try and attach to a web-based product where, while people are waiting to come and see me for a consult, they can have a look at some integrated, low-level pods of education that's going to enhance them in the short term, and then hopefully we'll follow that up with a clinic face-to-face if they need one.
Wonderful. Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you. Now, So what we've seen is a couple of examples. Hopefully we've got an answer for your business, for you. We do have limits on time. How do you perfect this? My favourite way of doing it, and I've done it with a couple of people that have come to me for advice on pitch, is I just text them the question, who? And they've got to come up with a different answer when they are ready to answer that text. So it might be, who are you? Who are you dealing with? Who are your competitors? Whatever. But it's who, how, what, where, when. It's all why, so I leave the why out of it. Right? The real why is because I want to live a grand lifestyle. And we don't want to tell the customers that. Okay? But then the next questions are next, then if but, those sort of words. And whenever you think, gee, I've got 2 minutes to wait, what can I do with this 2 minutes? Just think of another answer to the question who, and you might be amazed at what comes up.
Very good.
Geoff?
Thank you, John. I just want to finish up by telling you a little bit about Toastmasters. So thank you for your engagement in those activities. I've got to say that that whole thing would have gone very badly if you'd refused to talk to each other. Just imagine it. Before I do though, I want to remind you that you've got a way to introduce yourself, you've got a way to tell people what it is that you offer, and you've got a way to help them to understand how it will be useful to them. So that's the journey we've just been on in this very short period of time. If you'd like to immerse yourselves further into Toastmasters, we would like to tell you that we meet, as John said earlier, at 6:30 a.m. We meet on the 1st, 3rd and 5th Wednesdays of the month, which means most months we only have 2 meetings, but some months we get 3 meetings, like this month and next month. The location we meet is right where you are now, so you're very accustomed to the space in which we meet, and we'd love you to be our guest. People come along and just try it out. That's what we encourage people to do. Come and be part of what we do. We've been involved with the Smart Hub now for a little over 12 months. We moved in here and became very comfortable very quickly and started to talk about the things that we can do together. And so Smart Hub members, and some of you are Smart Hub members, have access to the advice of an experienced entrepreneur and Toastmaster to plan and polish your pitch. And that happens one-on-one from time to time, and it happens in small groups, and sometimes it happens in larger settings like at startup weekends and places like that. We pull together some people and we spend some time talking about their pitch. In addition to that, just really for today, people who've come along today and are part of this session, or who are on the Facebook Live and live locally, are welcome to come and attend Entrepreneurs Capricorn Toastmasters and kick the tire during August. And if you do so, we would make you welcome as a club member with $30 off your membership fee up until March next year. We've got a bit of an odd membership time frame. So we would love people to come along, check it out. If it is for you, there is a small discount for you to encourage you to keep coming and be part of what we're doing here. So we'd love to see some of you come along and get involved. And that's us for today.
So your fee for that time is $115 instead of $145, and then after your first term, it's $85 every 6 months.
Thank you, John. And if you need those details again, because that just went in one ear and out the other for me, see John, because he's the one who remembers the numbers.
And it's on the website, which is on the handout.
Very good. Thank you, Elise.
Any questions for John or Geoff? Yes, Stuart.
I think it was mentioned there were 3 Toastmasters clubs in Rocky.
Yep.
What in Sanford are they?
Okay,
There
so
are 4 in the region.
there's 4 in our region, 1 down in Gladstone, there's 1 at the Cape Coast that meets at the Sailing Club, and there's 1 Boomerang that meets at the Heritage Hotel. All 3 of those clubs are evening clubs, so any of you who can't get up for the 6:30 start, they are evening clubs, and I do not know off the top of my head when they meet.
Okay, the Cape Coast one, the Yeppoon one met last night, and they meet fortnightly as opposed to the 1st and 3rd and etc., which is great for drive-in, drive-out people, people with child custody issues that they're only available 1 week out of 2. And that works perfectly for them. The other club meets next Tuesday, and I think it's the 2nd and 4th week of the month. So they'll meet next Tuesday for Heritage.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, very good. So I just want to recap. Public speaking is something that we all have to do all the time, really. And sales and pitching is something we all have to do all the time. Anyone with kids knows this. You do this, all we do, all the time. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend you coming along. So the next Toastmasters meeting in the Smart Hub is next Wednesday morning.
No, it's tomorrow morning.
It's tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow morning at 6:30, and then again in a couple of weeks.
And then a week later, because we've got our first, thirds and fifths, you just have to do the maths.
Okay, just remember tomorrow morning. It's tomorrow morning at
Come and join
6:30
us.
tomorrow morning. And ultimately, this is a really, really good deal. If you just come along for all of August, so does that include tomorrow morning? If they come, if
Yeah.
someone comes tomorrow
Anytime
morning,
between now and the end of August, if they come to a meeting,
Can they come? Can they
this
come to all the
themselves.
meetings in August
They-
and then have 20% author membership start
Absolutely.
September to March? Okay, that's a really, really good deal. I would highly encourage you and recommend that you come. Thank you very much, Geoff. Thank you very much, John. Let me give you stuff. Thank you very, very much for helping us train, helping us learn how to pitch. We really, really appreciate that. And our next lunch and learn is next Tuesday. We're coming in, so late in July, early in August. We actually have someone that we work with every now and again, an amazing person, David French from the Investment Collective, and we're going to talk about single touch payroll. So that's why it's so early in the month, because single touch payroll is something that's happening right now. It started in the 1st of July. David is going to share everything you need to know about how to do that properly and how to do that well. So please register. Next Tuesday we'll be back in the room, absolutely free for Smart Hub members, a $10 registration if you're not a member yet. And of course lunch is provided 12 noon to 1 next Tuesday. If you're interested in Smart Hub membership, please come and chat to Court and I. We'll be very happy to talk to you about the options available. Thank you very much for joining us today.